Shalom, I'm Rabbi Jonathan Ginsburg of the Ezra Habonim Niles Township Jewish Congregation. This video is a basic explanation of Shabbat. Shabbat comes from the Torah, and there are many references to it. At the beginning of the creation story, the Sabbath is the culmination of creation. God works for 6 days of the week and then rests on the seventh day and commands us to rest too. And then in the Ten Commandments, we have commandment number 4. Now, there is a slight difference between the version of the Ten Commandments in the book of Exodus and the Ten Commandments as relisted in Deuteronomy. And we learn very significant things from the difference. When you compare the text side by side, it's very similar, but the Sabbath varies considerably. The word that introduces the Sabbath commandment in Exodus is zachor, which means to remember. The word that introduces the Sabbath commandment in Deuteronomy is shamor, which means to guard or keep. So what do you learn differently from the law when you hear the word remember versus the word guard or keep? Well, our ancient sages deduced from that, when we remember, we use all those ceremonies and beautiful traditions that make the Sabbath so special. For example, on Friday nights, customarily, Jews light Shabbat candles according to the commandments. We make sanctification over grape juice or wine. We buy special bread called challah. We use our most beautiful table setting. We sit around and have a festive, beautiful Sabbath meal. When we return from the synagogue on Saturday, we have an elaborate, warm lunch, again with sanctification over the wine, kiddush, and challah. We have our last meal, Shabbat afternoon, and then we make Havdalah, the ceremony separating the Sabbath from the rest of the week. Now, the word shamor teaches us about guarding our rest. It's forbidden to do any milacha, often translated as work. Now, what does that mean, and where do we get it from? Well, the Torah in Exodus chapter 35 has a very interesting chapter. At the beginning of Exodus 35, it again tells us that 6 days a week we are to do milacha, but on the seventh day we are not to. And then we're not supposed to light a fire on our house on the Sabbath day. And then the very next adjacent passage talks about all the milachot that our ancestors did in constructing the tabernacle. So our rabbis used Greek wisdom, a logical principle which says that if in one passage a term is defined, like milacha, in the context of building the temple, the tabernacle, and it's not used, but the same word is used in another adjacent passage, like forbidden to do on the Sabbath, you can deduce what the first term means by the use of the second term. And so logically then we know what we're not allowed to do on the Sabbath by virtue of the fact of what we are permitted to do, or our ancestors did in constructing the tabernacle. So in the Mishnah, in the tractate for Shabbat, it lists the 36 and more things that were prohibited as milachot, and all of Jewish law is derived from that. And so instead of working and doing labor and exercising our business sense, we're supposed to spend the day praying and eating, reading, talking to our family, walking, refreshing our souls and our bodies. It's a beautiful opportunity. Many people think they're so busy and they can't possibly avoid doing milacha 7 days a week. Well, it's amazing. There's a lot of Jews who do refrain from doing milacha that 1 day a week, and they feel enhanced and refreshed and make so much better use out of their other 6 days. There's a reason that God had the genius, as you can expect God would, to put this stop once a week into the tradition. Now, Muslims, of course, observe the Sabbath on Friday and Christians on Sunday, but what a great gift the Jewish people gave to the world. In fact, there used to be a time in America when many Christians observed the Sabbath as Jews still do traditionally today, with prohibiting all kinds of labor. Many stores used to be closed, many activities could not be done on Sunday, just as Jews still observe the Sabbath on Saturday. Now, many of you are probably thinking, if you're not Orthodox, that this is too much, I can't do it all. And we would say it's better to do something than nothing. It's really not hard to make sure you have candles in your house and to learn the blessing for candles. It's very simple. It's Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Kidshanu B'mitzvotav V'tzivanu Lahadlik Ner Shel Shabbat. If you know the Hanukkah bracha, it's the same, but just change the words Shel Hanukkah to Shel Shabbat. And it's customary to wave the Shabbat into your life like this and cover your eyes when you say it. Have Shabbat candles and candlesticks. Even if that's all you do, it's a beautiful commandment, and it brings Shabbat into your home. And it's really no problem to have a special cup designated for sanctification, for Kiddush, And the bracha for that is even shorter. It's simply the beginning 6 words of any bracha, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Then you say Borei Pri Hagafen. When you get more advanced, you'll learn the rest of Kiddush, but for now, that's the bracha. And what's so hard about making sure in your shopping once a week that you have nice challah, 2 small loaves at least, to make the motzi with? Just doing those simple things, whatever else you do, make the Shabbat so enhanced. And then, for husbands and boyfriends, I definitely suggest you look up Proverbs chapter 31. You can find it on the internet from the Hebrew Bible, Proverbs 31. It's called A Woman of Valor. And hold your loved one close to you and recite that. It's a beautiful ancient custom on Friday night. And for parents with children, it's an opportunity to hold your children dear and to bless them with the priestly benediction. For boys, we say, may God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh, who were the grandsons of Jacob. For girls, we say, may God make you like Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah. And then for all our children, we say, may God bless you and keep you. May God lift up God's countenance to you and be gracious unto you. May God lift up God's countenance to you and grant you peace. Very beautiful, wonderful custom. Those are some of the ideas of Shabbat. Why not go to synagogue too? Find a synagogue near you that has a rabbi and a cantor and services that you enjoy. Celebrate the Sabbath with your family, study Torah. It's an opportunity to avoid the hassle of the world and to really enjoy the beautiful Sabbath. There's nothing like stopping one day a week to reflect on God, on the beauty of the universe, on your life, to take stock of what your week was and what your week should be. That is the Sabbath. It's one of the greatest things that the Torah gives to the world, and we should take advantage of it. Shalom, and every Friday night and Saturday, wish all the Jews you meet Shabbat Shalom.